Okay, so I may or may not have forgotten to do the English message yesterday, so I am starting with y'all. This is Rosalina Noche. I do daily tarot readings both in English and Spanish. I also have a TikTok in which I just be silly and laughing at the zodiac signs. So if you want me to make fun of your signs and or placements, just check that out. But right now, I'm having a vibe of there could have been a situation recently in which you had to, and it doesn't have to be a situation, but like a moment in which you had to face some sort of fear. It could be as I'm not going to say little because I am terrified of certain stuff. Like I'm terrified of butterflies, for example. And if I saw that shit inside of my home, that wouldn't be little. I would lose my shit. So for some of you, it could be something that might seem trivial in other people's eyes, but for you, it's like horrifying. With the 7 of Cups in the bottom of the decks here, I feel like Okay, yeah, I'm hearing a little bit of laughter in the back of my head. I feel like somehow your spirit team needed to either nudge you a little bit or kind of test you a little bit, right? Because I feel like for some of you, you're very spiritual, you have a lot of faith, and you could carry your faith in a way that's very specific to you. You may be not like inclined to follow any specific religion. You could be a little bit like eclectic in the sense of like taking what resonates with you and just discarding the rest, and that has worked for you, right? And I feel like somehow you have been talking big game about having faith, about being able to face certain like hard moments. For some of you, you could also be readers, and like you keep telling other people, or like a motivational speaker of some sort, and you're like constantly telling people like to have faith, so like do it even if they are scared. So I feel like in a way it feels like kind of like prank energy, kind of like mischievous type of energy, in which you may have a spirit guide or ancestor that's kind of in that side of like whenever they give you lessons or things to like messages for you to go through, it comes with a little bit of trickery for some of you. And in this sense, they could have like literally like scared you with something that you're like actually like terrified of, like a phobia that you may have, or a situation that you're set like that kind of like maybe you were put on a spot. Let's say that you're terrified of public speaking, or you don't like to dance in public, something that's very specific for you, and like the people that know you know this about you, and like you could have been put in the situation of having to face that. It may be in a kind of public setting, and for some of you, and if it wasn't, in a way that was like kind of very inconvenient for you, in like your daily day. So maybe like you were very busy, and also you were dealing with something that was like directly tackling a fear of yours. And I feel like in this situation, what you needed to learn, it wasn't for you to suffer, it wasn't for you to feel less than or feel like you're not as protective, or like your team is gonna be like playing games with you or stuff like that. It was actually for you to learn how to ask for help, right? Because I feel like you have been on a journey of learning to be self-reliant, learning to like falling in love with the self for some of you. And I feel like although that has been a very beautiful journey, and although you have been able to accomplish a lot of stuff, and I know a big part of it is because of this faith of yours, the thing is though that you have grown accustomed to doing things by yourself, and you are not asking for help, and there's a lot of help that's available for you, and you're not asking for it. So they were kind of hoping in you being scared that and this might have happened actually, like in you being scared and you being in that state, remembering your own humanity, and like they were seeing if you were gonna actually like kind of just pray and talk to them, right? And like being like, oh, I'm terrified of this, like please help me. But also, like, for some of you, like, please don't make it a habit of like only reaching out to your spirit team or God when you're in trouble, right? Like, that's not very nice. Like, only 5:05 when I saw this. Like, just try to have like a little bit more of a habit to share your day-to-day experience. And I know that you have a lot of faith. I see that you have also like a lot of gratitude for things that happen to you, but what they're asking for is like a little bit more of, in a way, intimacy in your spirituality, right? Like, make it a little bit more personal when you speak to them. And I feel like this is something that you know already. 535, sorry. This is something that you know already, and maybe your younger self could have done this a lot as well. And it's that 4-4, you need to have more one-on-one, heart-to-heart conversations with God, basically, whatever that means for you. And you need to go back to doing that, because I know this is a collective that is not new to any of what I'm saying. I feel like for some of you, you could have gone through some sort of situation that kind of made you harden up when it comes to like your faith. You didn't lose your faith, but it was more of like, yeah, okay, I see. Like, what you were learning is to balance faith with action, right? Like, that balance between the spiritual world and the material one. And for some of you, you needed to combine that faith with also inspire action, because in the past you may been doing the opposite. You were leaving too much to the spirit world, and for some of you, you could have been like actually physically unable to do certain things, and then you became able to do certain things, and then you just kind of like went off that high of like, oh, I can do this, which was a very necessary process in itself, right? You needed to have that fun. But now they're like calling you back into that healthy middle. Now that you have seen the two extremes of not doing enough or doing too much, 17, now I feel like it's time for you to go back to center. For some of you, spending some time alone, and for some of you, actually, I feel like it's more of like prioritizing and also like having better use of your alone time. For some of you, you could have already been thinking about this of like, maybe like realizing that you're doom scrolling too much on TikTok or social media, or realizing that you have been too attached to your phone, or that there are certain things that you have left behind. Let's say like books that you haven't finished, or projects that you told yourself you were going to do. And for some of you, it could be simply that you might be a little bit bored with with the everyday life, right? With the adult version of how you're supposed to live your life. For some of you, you need to call back a little bit of that artistic flair, spirituality into your life, make things a little bit, like leave things a little bit more to chance, but also, I don't know. For some of you, you could have like forced yourself to be a little bit too structured, knowing damn well that you are not structured in nature. This is not to say that do not get organized. Like, I myself, like, I started to realize the value of organization, and how much having an actual structure and organization to your space and everyday life can actually welcome a lot of creativity, because a lot of things are already taken care of, so you can flow in other spaces. So I feel like for some of you, what it's needed is that, like, having that little bit of space of starting to play now. It's almost like you have been so focused on getting things tied up, of getting things working and together. And for some of you, this could be tied to material wealth. Like, you could like finally starting to make money after a while of not being able to. And like, now this is something that you kind of like pressure yourself to keep. And what you're being told is that, first of all, remember that you pray for this, you manifested this at some point. So if this turned out to be exactly or very close to what you asked for, then there is some sort of evidence in there that yes, you were able to do this, but you were also able to do this because you asked for this, because you prayed for it and it was granted to you, right? So with that logic, you can also incorporate the spiritual side of it, in the sense of like learning to let go of what you cannot control, of what you are not humanly possible of keeping together by yourself, and those things, leave it to God, right? So let's put it in a more concrete example, because I feel like I'm talking too abstract. But let's say, for example, that you're trying to get a business off the ground. Let's say that you want to do pastries for some of you. Your job is to find your voice within that, is to find what you are here to offer, what is the service that you want to provide, how do you want to feel doing it, in which way do you want to work and go about it so it doesn't feel too much like work. Like, what's your take on this thing that you want to do? That's your job. Like, focus on how you want to do it and play. Then everything else that's outside of that, let's say how many people are going to come over, what kind of clientele you're going to get, how far you're going to go, those are things that you can start leaving up to God. That doesn't mean you're not going to do anything towards getting that goal. Let's say if you're trying to reach more people, that doesn't mean that you're not going to do any type of outreach, right? You can flyer, you can share on social media, but after you do it though, anything that happens to it, how people interpret the ad, if people share it or not, like, those are things that at some point you gotta leave to God too, right? You need to also bring it to the spiritual world and say, please let this reach the right people, right? Combine the two, because right now I feel like you're carrying too much by yourself, to a point that is starting to look like your faith is kind of starting to shake in a way. Because if you're starting to do too much yourself, it's because you're not trusting 12:12 that things can be given to you, that things can just happen for you, right? Like, there's so many people that have gone viral overnight, that have done things and gotten famous or super wealthy out of things that other people might deem stupid or with no effort whatsoever. Why can it happen to you? Like, if you're doing the things and you're putting the word out there, if you're putting the work, if you're trying the recipes, if you're talking to people about it, if you're being like actually giving it a real shot, why is it that it's so fucking impossible for it to happen to you, right? So yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're so close though to having all of these realizations by yourself. I feel like for some of you also, you might go through some sort of situation, because I see a lot of praying. I see a lot of like talking directly to God. And for some of you, there might be some requests that you did to the spirit world, like some prayers that might have been witnessed by other people, or other people know that was something that you were manifesting, and they are gonna see you get it. 1331. For some of you, if you were made to feel, I just got chills, if you were made to feel stupid for wanting something, for wishing for something to happen, or like you've been told like, oh, you need to be realistic or whatever the fuck, like, you are gonna get that in front of those people, because that's going to be the lesson that God's gonna give you and them, that there's no such thing as a stupid request for God, and you should feel entitled to get certain things in the sense of energy, right? In the sense of being available, like, not just to you, to everybody. Like, if it's possible for the other person, it's possible for me, type of thing. That type of entitlement, like, as a human being, you are worth a chance just like the other person. There's no difference. And yes, this world has been made to be in a very unfair advantage to certain groups on top of the others, and I'm not blind to that reality, and still I'm telling you, it's going to happen for you in front of those people. 1441. But you need to start having those conversations with God. You need to start telling God how much you actually care, Of course, God knows. But you need to hear it, how much you care. You need to hear it out loud, how much you want it. Because, like, I feel that in a way, it's almost like emotionally you have started to detach from it so you don't get hurt. And don't do that, because that's 5 of Cups in the bottom of the deck. That's a defense mechanism. You're trying to 15. And the Empress as the last card. You're trying to protect yourself from, so it doesn't hurt that much and I heard when it doesn't happen, and it's not true. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And yes, it is human for us to doubt, to have our moments of being like, maybe I am delusional. And seeing La La Land, for some of you, that's a movie that could be good for you to watch. I have the scene when she's telling him, like, maybe I'm not good enough. Like, sometimes it is necessary to have like that realization of realizing our own humanity, or realizing that we care so much and we'll be practicing, and there is a chance that nothing happens, or things happen in a different way for some of you. But this collective, I feel like this is you being humble in your approach to things, to this craft. This is you caring for it. And you need to allow yourself to have a heart through this, because the way that you care, the reverence that you feel towards this specific craft, that is what is going to give you the most fulfillment. Knowing that you're doing this because you care, and doing it with the care that you want to do it, right? But you need to unlock that heart. You need to allow yourself to say that, yes, it would feel horrible if something goes wrong, or you lose something. For some of you, you could have like a scare. Like, I know I had a few days ago, I had a little scare because I thought there was a file of a project that I lost. And I have a little bit of a, not a panic attack, but a little bit of a moment in which I was like, holy shit. And like, sometimes we're needed to get shaken like that, so we remember the value of things sometimes, right? So for some of you, you were shaken because you were acting too tough. You were acting like too aloof to things. You were acting as if like, okay, like I'm doing my all, I'm here, and if God wants me to have it, then cool, and if not, then I'll accept it. And yeah, that's a cute mentality to have, but you're still a human being. You're still going to care if something happens, especially if you put your all into it, and that's okay. That's human. That doesn't make you a bad person. So I feel like the core belief of here that you have to go is that it's okay to care, and it's okay to have a grieving moment if things don't look like what you thought they were going to look like. It's okay to go through those processes, and it doesn't mean that you're not grateful, or that you're like defying the idea of what the universe, God wants for you, right? Because for some of you, this could be something that's tied low-key to some sort of trauma when it comes to faith and religion, or a lot of like fear or shame-based faith for some of you. But yeah, good things are coming though. There's a lot of celebration. You are going to be celebrated. Your name is going to be pronounced in a celebratory way, in a for some of you might receive some sort of award or be nominated. For some of you, you could be named in a new position in front of a group or something. I don't know what it is, but you're about to be noticed by the right people. So stay grounded, but also allow yourself to feel, because there are big things coming. For some of you, I'm seeing like a roller coaster. Like, it's going to feel like a lot of things happening. So you want to check in with yourself first and allow yourself to know where you're at emotionally before things, for some of you, start crumbling down and to get rebuilt. This is not scary. This is not painful. It's just going to be very different. So I feel like it's time for you to check in with yourself and have those conversations. For some of you, even write things down, because things are about to look very different. the most awesome of ways, by the way. But yeah, this is the message that I have for you. I hope that it resonated. I hope that it helps and confirm things for you, right? If you like this, just don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to do videos every single day, English and Spanish. So yeah, this is the English message for the day, and hopefully I'll get to the Spanish eventually. But thank you so much. And if you have any suggestions, complaints, anything at all, just let me know in the comments below. They're all welcome. Well, see you. I'm Rosalina Noche, and I'll see you tomorrow.